What's up? Welcome, guys. Welcome from Kenya, East of Africa. Yeah, this is Celestine Mandela coming live from the border of Kenya and Uganda, East of Africa, guys. And I'm bringing content from you live because today I've got an amazing update for you guys. So today I'm gonna be taking you, on a tour around our village, guys. So welcome to today's video. That road just that you see behind me, comes from my home, and currently I'm on this junction. This other road, leads to Busia town, and if you go straight, you can go all the way to the border on the Ugandan side. But I'm gonna be exploring my village, so I'm gonna be taking this road on my left over here, and this is the road that I'm gonna be exploring, showing you what my village has to offer. So come through with me in this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for always taking time, to come back to watch my content. So come along with me in this journey. I'm going to be just taking a stroll, around our village to show you some of the things that, you can see and learn from an African village. So come along with me, guys. There's a certain ceremony happening just behind me, and there's some music. Hope it doesn't, bring copyright to my video. But, come along with me, guys, because today, finally, I'm taking you on a tour, on an African village, because most of you have, I'm sure you have heard stories of Africa, how people live here in the villages. But finally, I have decided to take you, on a tour to show you, my village, which is located on the border of Kenya and Uganda. On that's Kenya is located in eastern side of Africa. For those who haven't been here, so let's take a tour, show you what we do here in our village, some of the activities that go on here in the villages, and you just come get to learn what to expect from an African village. So yeah, guys, hope this video will be entertaining. It will be educative for some of you, because you'll get a chance to experience the African side if you get to watch this video till the end. So guys, don't forget to like, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you never miss any update whenever I bring it on this channel, because you know that this channel is all about exploring Africa together with me, guys. So come along with me on this journey, and let me just take you on an African village tour and show you how we do it here in Africa. Yeah, so this is the road that I shall be using today. This is the road that connects, our entire village. And you can see I'm headed that way, and I'm coming back from this way. My home is right behind there. So I'm just taking you, along the village tour to show you around our village, so that you can get to learn what, the Kenya-Ugandan border village looks like, what, East Africa has to offer, some of the things that we do here in the village. Hope this video, will be entertaining, because there's so much to learn about our village. This is some of the kids, just walking freely. We have a shop right over there, a village shop where, we buy stuff. Those are some of the things that, you can find here on the Kenya-Uganda, village on the border of Kenya and Uganda. This is some of, the fencing that, people are just fencing their home to show that boundary, between different homes. And this is the type of, fence that we use, to just put that landmark, to show that this home belongs to someone else, not the other person. So let me just take you, along, this tour. I get to show you what my village, here in the border of Kenya and Uganda has to offer, and some of the amazing activities that you can find here in the village. This video, I'm just not gonna, tell you what to expect, but you shall get to learn, each and every minute that we walk, and just explore the village. Then I'm sure there's something new that, you will learn from the video. Starting with right here, we can see that there's a villager who has decided, to grow, her own vegetables. And this is how people survive here in the village. You can see they have grown, their own vegetables where, they can harvest and, feed the family. And that's the vegetables, guys. You can see how amazing, they are planted. And I can see, yes, they have also planted, some onions over there. And this is, basically how we survive here in the village, in the Kenyan village, right at the border between Kenya and Uganda. Because I told you yesterday that, we do experience so much rainfall. And, this is the advantage that comes with the rain, because we get to plant our own food, straight to the farm. to the kitchen, and that's how we survive here in the village. Let's take this trip together. Let's get to explore our beautiful village in the border of Kenya and Uganda, and let's get to explore, the African culture generally. So let's take, this video, slow by slow, just exploring together, learning about African culture and what it has to offer. So come along with me. So right over here, I've come across, some amazing crops. These are some of the things that, we used to survive, eating here in the village. This is cassava, and, this is how it's grown. When it's ready, we uproot from the root down there. We dig it out and get the cassava from the ground. But this is how, the cassava plant look. For those who, wondering how is cassava grown, yeah, this right here is the cassava plant. And we can see that, the owner of the farm decided, to plant so much cassava, which means that, maybe he might even be selling them, because this is quite a huge piece of land where he has planted so much cassava. Take a look at, how huge that land is, and all of it, is just planted cassava. Ah, very huge piece of land. So I guess, the owner even could be selling the cassava, because most of the people, these are the basic meal that we consume here in the village. So seeing someone, investing so much in planting this many cassava, that means that, he has a very big, target, market that consumes this cassava. And these are just some of the things that you can find, here in an African village. Kids walking freely, going to the shop, they don't have too much to worry about, like city life where you have, to play with other kids. Here you can just enjoy, your own company. You can just enjoy, taking a stroll around the village without, having to have any pressure that, something will happen to you, or, what, to worry about. We don't worry so much here in the village. And that's, one of the main reasons we came back, here in the village, because I told you that this is the kind of life that, I enjoy, just taking strolls like this, showing you around my village, exploring together. This is what I love. So come along, let's take this journey, and let's continue, updating you each other about, the African villages, especially here in the border of Kenya and Uganda. As I am taking, this tour along our village, located in the border of Kenya and Uganda, east of Africa, I'm getting shocked by, how much our village, has grown. I told you it's been 9 years since I last was here, but, taking a lap, in our village, I can see people are building, coming up with big mansions. People have, moved into this village. They're building big houses. You can't see even the mud houses that used to be here anymore. Now people are developing, and this just shows that, our village is really growing. And this is a good sign, because just seeing, people even coming up with story buildings, around the village, that is something that, shows that really the village is getting empowered. Like you can see that huge, story building in front of me. That, I don't know if it's a rental apartment or it's a hotel, but that is one massive building. Let me show you a glimpse of it. Look at that, guys. And this is, a building just right here in our village, guys, in the border of Kenya, east of Africa. Really, 9 years has been a long time, because, guys, I can't believe what I'm seeing. That is one serious investment, right here in the village. And, someone decided, to invest such a huge, building. I'm not sure if, it's a residential building or it's a hotel, but I think here it's written, proposed hotel development. Yeah, it is a hotel being constructed over here, guys. Wow, this will be one beautiful hotel when it will be over. But take a look at it, guys. That is an amazing, building, getting, ready to serve the people of this community. And I'm just, amazed on how much, the village is growing each and every day. And, just coming back and experiencing such things, guys, keep me more motivated, even to finally, move back here in the village, so that I can get to explore this life more, because it's getting interesting, over here. It's right behind, this hotel being built here. This here is the playing field that we used to play football while we were kids. This is where we used, to play football tournaments, as the area kids or as the village kids over here. We used to play, amazing football over here. But now you can see that, the whole field is almost over. People are purchasing property, everywhere. And even half of the field, is already purchased. And people just are, developing each and every day. So come with me as I share, you through, as I take you through, this tour, as we get to explore, our African village and, how much it's growing, guys. Look at this, people are building everywhere. People are building right, left, and center. The village is growing, and that's something that, I'm proud of, finally coming back home and seeing this kind of change, it really makes me motivated, to want to be part of this change, because this is growing Africa. And, this is how we grow Africa, by this kind of development, by this kind of, constructions. This is how we grow Africa together. So guys, come along with me and just let's take a tour, and explore this village, located in the border of Kenya and Uganda. And if you're joining us for the first time, this is Alestin Mandela, your content creator, from Kenya, East of Africa, at the border town, between Kenya and Uganda. That's my home. That's where I am from. And after 9 years, staying in the city, I decided, to come back home and show you, how amazing the village life looks here in Africa, and how amazing, just life is generally. So come along with me. So this is how we live, here in the village. This is how, we enjoy life, here in the border town of Kenya and Uganda, east of Africa. And, just taking a tour along this village, it's really, showing me some amazing things that are ongoing, because currently we even have a tarmac road right here in the village. When I left here, this road wasn't constructed, but take a look at this, guys. The village is really transforming. And Africa, is growing at a very fast, huge level. And this is so motivating for us as African youths, just getting to experience, this kind of development happening right here in our continent. People just trying to grow and change, the story from Africa. And guys, if you take this road, it takes you all the way to the border. That's Uganda and Kenyan border. That's the main entrance border. If you take this road straight, it leads you like maybe 7 kilometers from here, you will be in Uganda. So this is the road that leads to the border. But for today, we are still exploring, we are still exploring the village. So let's continue with our tour. Next time when I will be doing the video just showing you the border, I will take you, on the border side. But for today, we are exploring the village. And right just across here on this fence, there's also a 5-star hotel that was built here. And for today's video, I want to get a chance, to show you. But with time, as I continue making content, I'll be taking you across, inside this hotel and many other, amazing amenities that we have here at the border town. But here, these are the things that, I didn't live here 9 years ago. But coming back, guys, this is really motivating me on how much, how much the village is growing. So come along with me. Let's continue taking this tour together. Let's continue experiencing what an African village here in the border of Kenya and Uganda has got to offer. So in case you're joining here as for the first time, this is Alestin Mandela, a content creator from Kenya, east of Africa, at the border town, between Kenya and Uganda. And I decided to come back home after 9 years, to just explore and show you the village life here in Africa, how we live, how we transverse this life, and how we continue to change the face of Africa. So come along with me. You can see, the tarmac road goes all the way until it joins, the major highway that goes to Nairobi. But, this is one of the biggest projects that, we are experiencing here, and we don't take it for granted, because, the government is really putting, so much effort to ensure that such roads, are built right here in the village. And this helps, ease life of people living here, conducting business here. Such kind of roads is what, leads to development, because with roads then comes, good business, good transportation, which indeed, boosts the economy. So this village indeed is growing each and every day. Take a look at the kind of construction that, is happening in this village, guys. Actually, I am shocked, man. I am really shocked in the kind of investments that people are putting in this village of ours, because I didn't expect this, because 9 years, although it's a very long time, but for this kind of growth, then I can't say that our village indeed is headed on the right direction, because look, like, this is someone's home. You can tell from the perimeter wall that there's such a huge home inside there. But these are things that I didn't live here in the village. We were used to just having mud house, people living in semi-permanent houses. But right now, the village is really transforming, guys, and I am really, really shocked. Look at this, guys. you know the village is transforming very, very fast, guys. And this is something that I am happy to be part of, as an African, living here, coming from here, guys, and seeing this kind of development. What more could I ask for, guys, than just saying that I need to be part of this growth? I need to be part of building Africa together with my people, right from where I come from. So, guys, let's come along. These are kids, just having a good time, and this is how they enjoy, playing, just riding bicycles. This is what, we love about African villages, especially here in the Kenya-Ugandan border, because we live, as one big community. We live, in peace. We live in harmony. You can see so much trees, good fresh air, so much rainfall, big lands so that we can plant, much crops to feed us all. And this is, life in an African village, guys. So, yeah, habari zenyu. These are kids, just playing, enjoying themselves. This is what we love about Africa, guys. Because, in other places, so hard, finding kids, enjoying playing just beside the road, But here in Africa, yeah, this is how we do it. So, guys, come along with me. Let's continue exploring this amazing village of ours, and, just showing you what, we got to offer from this side of Kenya, especially at the border between Kenya and Uganda. Take a look at those kids, guys, enjoying themselves, just riding the bicycle around the village, as friends, they have nothing much to worry about. They just take their bikes, take a stroll around the village, have stories, and yeah, this is how, they live here in Kenya, here in the border village of Kenya and Uganda. This is how we used to, live our life as kids, growing up, riding bicycles, playing, climbing up trees. These are some of the things that we used to love doing. And, I was telling you that long time ago, houses were made of mud, and, that's how, we used to make our houses long time ago. Just use soil, mud, we mix it and make houses. But right now, telling from, the houses that I've seen, we no longer use this type of, design to make houses. Right now, I've seen people embracing, so much, the modern way of building, using, bricks like these ones, and using, stones and cement. But, back in the days, we used to use mud, to build our houses. But right now, we no longer use, like that house is made of mud. We no longer use mud. Right now, people are embracing, using bricks, using stones, which is kind of a modern way of, building houses. And just seeing, the village, embracing that is really amazing, because there are so much constructions coming around here in this village. So come along with me as we continue to explore. Take a look at the massive structures, people are building right now. Truly, my friend, those stories that you hear about Africa, guys, let me tell you something. Africa is really changing. Africa is changing, and in the next maybe 10 years, we will be, much far. Because just imagine, for the 9 years that I've not been around, and this is the kind of things that I find. So what if, I come back after the next 10 years? Where will, this village be? It will be much far, better than it is right now, because, people are really trying to build, Africa. People are really trying, to get, to that, level where, the rest of the world is. And that is something that, we are proud of. We as village boys here in the border of Kenya and Uganda, east of Africa, that is something that, we want to be part of, just building, our continent, and making sure that, everybody, gets a benefit, of the, build up that comes in our continent. So guys, let's continue exploring this amazing, wonderful village of ours. I'm still taking a stroll, on this road, and I'm gonna just take a stroll further ahead, continuing to show you, some other amazing things that, this village of ours has to offer. Currently, people are, looking at me, wondering why is this guy recording himself? Because obviously it's the village. They are not used, to this kind of content creation, but, they will understand with time. But guys, this is just a tour of an African village, here in the border of Kenya and Uganda, guys. And this is how, we live, enjoying all these natural trees, guys, enjoying the cool weather, enjoying too much rain, and just planting so that, we never lack food. That is how we do it here in Africa. So come along with me. Take a look at that pig, especially, here in the border of Kenya and Uganda, the famous meal that people eat here is pork. So majority of people, have reared pigs in their home, and, that is just one of the pig that, is reared by a neighbor here. And you can see, how big it is. That is one of the main, meat that we enjoy here in our village at the border of Kenya and Uganda. So most people, enjoy eating pigs. That's why in most homestead, you will find them, rearing pigs, and that's how, most of the families survive, by rearing pigs, selling them, because most of the butcheries around here, they do sell, pork. So people enjoy eating pork here so much. So many people, around here in the village, many homesteads, have reared so much pigs, just to survive and try, to cope up with this African life. So yeah, that's our village right here, guys. Still taking you on a tour, still showing you around, Africa, a village in, Kenya, east of Africa, and a border village, between Kenya and Uganda. This is how, we live. This is how we enjoy, life here in Africa, and this is how we do it, guys. So come along with me on this amazing tour of our village in Africa. This is Africa for you guys. This is east of Africa, Kenya, at the border village between Kenya and Uganda. As you can see, there's one more pig over here. I told you that, most families, here do keep pigs. There's another pig there, and this is a different homestead. So most families, here, each and, almost every home, you must find a pig, because people do eat, pork meat so much here at, the border of Kenya and Uganda, and that's like a thriving business. But guys, take a look what I just came across. Another mega mansion in the village, guys. Yeah, this is the village life, guys. Look at that house, guys. Such a big house with a huge perimeter wall. Truly, Africa is changing, guys. Africa is changing at a very high rate, guys. This is in the village. This is not the city. You might think that, maybe you are in a city. No, this is the village, guys. And people are building such kind of mansions, in the village. Yeah, this is Africa for you. You have heard so many stories, guys. People saying, oh, Africans are poor. They live on trees like monkeys. Does that look like a tree, guys? Does that look like a tree for you, guys? If you haven't found time to explore Africa, make sure one of these days you just plan a trip and come and see for yourself, because Africa has so much to offer, and Africa is such an amazing continent that you should visit, guys. Look at that kind of house. Imagine if this was your home right here in Africa, guys. That's, a multi-million home right there, guys. And it's built right here in the village in Africa, guys. So come along with me, guys. For those joining us right now, guys, this is Alestin Mandela, a content creator from Kenya, East of Africa, coming live from a village, in the border town of Kenya and Uganda, just trying to show you guys what Africa has to offer, how we do it here in Africa, how we live in Africa, the kind of lifestyle that we have embraced, so that you can just have a clear picture of what Africa is all about, guys. So, yeah, this is, the village for you guys. This is the village. Yeah, let's continue, taking a stroll. Let's continue taking the walk because the village still has so much to offer, guys. I haven't even, walked even half of it, but you have seen, the kind of transformation that is happening right over here. Construction site, each and every corner, left, center, right, left, center, everywhere, are new constructions, coming up. And that, is what Africa is all about, development, you know, just trying to grow, to get to where, the rest of the world is. And you can tell that, the growth is truly inevitable because in every corner of this village, there's a new construction site coming up. And that, is what we love and proud of here as Africans. So, guys, yeah, let's continue with the village tour. We still have more to explore. Let's continue right through this road and see where, it leads us. Maybe there's some more interesting things, ahead there. We don't know. Let's continue exploring and see what we will come across on this journey. This is Africa for you guys. Look at how amazing, Africa is. Yeah. This is Africa for you, you know. The Africa that you hear the stories about, Hey, habari yako? Utasalimia watu kwa video? Eh? Unaitwa nani? Hebu kuja unisalimie. This is an African kid, he's really enjoying himself. Take a look at that swag. Umesema unaitwa Mike? Huku ndo nyumbani. Yeah, this is how kids, enjoy themselves, with the smallest thing, we don't need that much to enjoy here in Africa. Just his shades, taking a stroll, and you can see how happy he is. Sawa, asante Mike. Yeah, this is Africa, guys. This is what we live for here in the village, especially here in the border of Kenya and Uganda. So, yeah, let's continue exploring our beautiful village, guys. Coming to show you live, all the stories that you have been hearing about Africa, all the myths, guys. It's time for me, to show you how things are here on the ground. Take a look at that home, guys. Take a look at that home. Look from the perimeter wall, guys, the kind of security. And this is right here in Africa, right here in the village. Look at that home, guys. That's some crazy level of security in that home. From CCTVs to lights to electric fence. Yeah, that is all happening here in Africa. Come along with me. Wow, 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 wow. This village is really transforming each and every day. Each and every day, the village is transforming. And in front of me, I can see, there are men, working there, trying to extract, stones for construction. And you can see them, loading the stones, in a lorry. And this is some of the work that, some, youths here have to do to just ensure that, they provide for their family, they get something on the table for their kids. And yeah, you can see them, they are, digging stones out of the ground and selling them, to people at construction sites. And, they come and pick them up with lorries like that. And, these are some of the, jobs that, we have to do here in Africa just to survive, just to provide and, to ensure that we have a living for ourselves. Look at, this whole place where they have dug. But look at this whole place, guys. And they're not using a machine. They are digging, using their own hands, just going inches and inches, deep in the ground to ensure that, they get the best stones for construction. Look at that, guys. Look at that. That whole place where they have dug, to just ensure that, they get, stones that can be used, for construction. Let me show you a sample of, a stone that has already been dug out and, been, put in a good shape for construction. You see, they dig them, from here, then they come and try and shape them so that, they can be used for construction. And this is work that, we have to do here just to try and survive. Look at the, kind of size of land that they have dug. Yeah. This is, hard labor here in Africa, just trying to grow our continent together. And that's why, I saw it fit, to be part of this growth, to just make sure that, we grow our continent together. And this, is where it all begins from construction, from, making roads. That's how, we are building Africa right here in the village at the border of Kenya and Uganda, guys. So this, is our village. Let's continue exploring. Let me continue showing you what we have to offer here in Africa. So let's continue our journey, guys. Come along with me as I continue to explore this amazing village of ours. Guys, it seems the rains have started again. I told you here in our village, it rains almost every day. And, it looks like, it has started raining. And I'm in the middle of nowhere in the village, nowhere even to take a shade, So I'm going to have to cut this video short, but I'm not going to go all the way with the road. But, because of the, heavy rains that, are about to start, I'm going to have to end this village tour in this point where we have, an amazing water dam that was dug here by the government. You can see in front of me, there's a huge dam that was dug by the government, to help, in water conservation. And this dam, has been here for so many years because growing up, I remember we used to come to this dam, to swim. And even right over there, I can see there are kids swimming right now. And this, dam, I have got so much memories from this dam because I remember when I used to be in primary school, because my school is just a few kilometers from here, I used to sneak out of school with my friends so that we could come and swim in this dam. But, right now, I can see the government has tried, rehabilitating the dam. They have put, a fence around it so that, people can't access it that easily. But, you can still tell that, the place has maintained, its natural look. Ever since I was a kid, we used to come and, swim here. We used to come and catch fish over here. But, right now there's some kind of perimeter wall because I'm informed that, this kind of rehabilitation, on trying to improve, the status of this dam that's currently going on. That's why, it is surrounded with a perimeter wall fence. But, this is where, we enjoyed, our life as children, just growing up in this village. This is where we learned how to swim. This is where we came out, to hang out, fishing, and just playing. This dam has got some amazing memories because that was one of my fun activities, growing up, just coming and, having a swim at this, amazing dam together with my friends. I'm not gonna make it, to go inside the dam because, it's already raining. But, I just had to show you guys this is Africa, this is a village in the border of Kenya and Uganda, and this is how we live over here, guys. I really wanted, to give you a nice tour of, the whole part of the village and everything that, this village of ours has to offer. But because of the rains, guys, I'm gonna have to cut this video short here. But I promise you guys, I will bring you another episode so where I continue, to show you some great activities and some great, things that you can do here in our village in Africa, guys. But for now, guys, let me end my video right, here. But next to me, there's a water point, where we fetch water, or we used to fetch water before, we dug our, borehole. This is where, we grew up fetching water, and it's actually natural water, guys. For those who are doubting me, let me show you a closer look. Actually, it is a natural, habari yako? It is, natural water that, comes straight from the ground. And, they found a way, to channel it out through those pipes. And this is how, most families and most homes, get the water to cook, water to drink, and water to just use at home, because this water never runs out. It's always flowing 24 hours, 365 days in a year. And this is something that, really helps a lot of people here in the village, because, water is one of the major problems here in Africa. But, having such, a dam or a water point that serves, a huge number of people, is something that, the government, did right to just try and channel this water so that can be easier for anyone, coming to fetch water here. And I can see they also installed, a purifier that, helps, to clean the water, because most of the people who live here, this is the same water that they drink, this is the same water that they cook from. So they need it to be clean. That's why the government, installed, this, purification can, where they use, some kind of chemical to try and purify the water so that it can be good for drinking. So guys, I'm gonna have to end my video here today, but I promise I'll bring to you, an amazing parts two of just our village, and some of the things that I haven't been able to show you, I'll bring for you in the next video. But for now, allow me, to even take a thumbnail from right over here. Yeah, that will be my thumbnail. Yeah, and thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you so much for exploring, our beautiful, beautiful, village in the border of Kenya and Uganda, here in East of Africa, showing you how we live, showing you what this village has to offer. Amazing kids, enjoying life here in the village without too much pressure, just knowing that, they appreciate the simple things. And this is how we do it here in Africa, guys. So until the next one, guys, bye bye. I've been your host, Colonia Lestin, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.